Hey, thanks for looking in. My name is Andy. I hope you're doing well today. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. Doing really well actually, because I got something we all love. I got a parcel in the post today and I'm going to unbox it because it's two tarot decks. Not one, but two tarot decks, as you may have seen in the thumbnail. These two, and they're budget decks really. They're both pretty low price. I paid about £12 British pounds each for these decks, which makes them somewhere around the $16 mark. You can get decks for much less than that, but they tend to be a bit small and they can be a bit disappointing as well. Who knows? This one actually is on Amazon for about £6 British pounds, so you'd probably pick it up for $10. But I went for the more expensive one because I'm just not sure. You know, sometimes you pay bottom price and you get bottom quality. Maybe it's somehow not as good as these. You never know though. Maybe I wasted a few pounds there. But anyway, we're going to take a look at these and unbox them. This is Tarot del Fuego. Light glinting off it a bit there. And people say this has really, really beautiful artwork when you open it up. So we shall see in a minute. Looking through the comments on Amazon, it did actually say the cards themselves are a bit small and a bit thin and a bit flimsy. And they're not as big as the standard tarot decks, actually. I've got several decks which are much bigger than this and actually in themselves aren't that big. So they are small cards. But if you're making videos with them and you do that, it works just as good, you know, so I'm not too bothered. The other deck I've got, I've been looking forward to this. I actually already had this deck. In fact, I'm sure I have it. It must be buried in the house somewhere. I've got loads of junk around me, as you can see. Must be buried in here somewhere, so I shall have to, you know, have a dig out and really see if I can find my original deck, because it's the first deck that I ever bought. It's 33 years ago this year, maybe 34 years coming up, I'm not sure. But it's a long, long time ago. First deck I ever bought, and it's the Ancient Tarot of Marseilles. Marseilles in France. It's kind of a French version. There is an English version of it, but this is kind of the authentic one. And when I bought this back in the 1980s, it was the cheapest deck in the shop. And I felt a bit kind of strange about that because people had told me I should buy the deck I feel most drawn to. And I felt drawn to other decks that I just couldn't afford at the time. I wouldn't have minded a Rider-Waite deck, actually. There wasn't the huge amount of variety of decks available in those days, but you could get the Rider-Waite and I fancied it. But there's no way I could afford it. It was really expensive. So I ended up buying the Marseilles deck. And I realised years later, these things always happen for a reason. Everything goes the way it's actually meant to go somehow. Up there in the atmosphere, things happen for a reason. And the reason I was broke was to make sure I bought this deck, actually. Anyway, yes, it's wrapped up in the house somewhere. I used to do all my own personal readings with it, and I've lost it somewhere because I do readings with other decks all the time, and that's the way it goes. Anyway, let's get down to business. Let's have an unboxing session. So there we are. Well, I'm going to start with Tarot del Fuego because I'm just dying to see what's in here. So they're wrapped in plastic. Let me just see if I can find the end of the plastic. That is a big question, actually. I should have checked that out before I started rolling. Just a minute. Got it. Okay, now you can see my vegetable chopping knife there. It's kind of quite fierce, really, so I'm going to have to be quite careful. I must get an unboxing knife if this is going to keep up, actually. I know, it's just, oh, it's really tricky. Let's poke that in there. And then do the other side as well. And maybe it will just fall apart. I really hope so. Still quite tricky. There we go, we're in. That's what we need. Let's just put the knife out of the way. It kind of gives the wrong impression there. Kind of frightens people a bit. Okay, so Tarot del Fuego, what have we got? I'm really looking forward to seeing what we've got here because, as I say, some people said these aren't great quality cards, but I have to say, for the money, they seem okay. They're definitely a little bit on the thin side. But if you read the Amazon reviews, someone's complaining that they're really badly laminated plastic, and that's not the case. This is okay cardstock, it's just not the best. So there we go, we've got the fiery Fuego symbol on the back there, and let's just take a look at what we've got. We've got the obligatory Tarot del Fuego card, the two cards that always come with every card deck you get. which aren't actually part of the deck. And so here's a good one to start with. It's the Fool's Journey. And this is nice. We got kind of goggly eyes up here, and it just looks really kind of quite funny to me. All the traditional images, but look, the dog here has 3 eyes. So very abstract, very interesting actually. And this guy's got tattoos all over the place. Very similar feel to the ancient traditional tarot decks about this actually. And they would probably all have been drawn in the early days in almost an amateur way, you know, unless you were having them drawn by someone really, really rich. Okay, let's put that one there. And continuing with the major then, we've got the Magician here. He's looking good. And a dove here with eyes again. And we've got this kind of 3-eye symbolism all over both of these cards. And there's eyes everywhere on the Priestess. Let's just have a look. Yeah, lots of eyes turning up on all the cards. And often in groups of 3 eyes. So it's obviously relating to the 3rd eye there. I think that's rather interesting. Anyway, let's have a look into the suits. And what have we got? 2 of Cups. Wow, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because the 2 of Cups has so much to do with kind of love and even, you know, good relationships, that kind of thing. But lots of nature images in this, and a death's head there as well with a number 2 on it. Not sure exactly what that symbolises, but I will find out as I go ahead and do readings with these cards, because I'm going to enjoy reading with these, I can tell. I'm really glad I bought them. Card stock is just nothing like as bad as people said. What have we got here? 5 of Cups. I'm obviously into the Cups suit here. Very fiery, this. Now, the 5 of Cups is all about kind of pulling yourself together and getting on with things after something bad's happened in life. Came up in a reading I did this morning, actually. And yeah, really powerful image. And we've got a kind of a serpent character coming out of this cup here, and that's what it feels like when you're trying to kind of come back after you've been shot down in flames somehow, haven't you? But that feeling really makes you fiery. It really makes you want to get going forward. So I'm loving that. Got a dark sky there, but it's kind of prettied up with the night sky, stars, spots of light, everything like that. Let's take a look at another suit. The swords. This is the 9 of Swords. Wow, decision making is really kind of going to bite this guy. Not on the backside, but just about swallow him all up, I think, in this one. So that's tricky. And there is the Death's Head again, twice in this card. It keeps on showing up. 10 of Swords. A similar story, but a different story at the same time, isn't it? You know, we've got the eyes in the house here, and fiery images, and 10 swords sticking into the eye. And this card, that's really good for this card, because it is all about kind of just kind of feeling like you've been cut to bits, I suppose. I'm trying not to say kind of too much, but I don't like to be too directive, you know. I like to let you guys make your own minds up. Wow, King of Wands, look at him. Isn't he a crazy guy? Right, well, I'm going to enjoy reading with this deck, actually. I'm going to go up and do myself a quick reading with it, and I'll probably make a video with it quite soon. Let's take a look at the booklet that comes with it, because that's always quite important. You can always buy a tarot book, and there's probably a book about Tarot del Fuego, but these are by Fournier. Yeah, the manufacturer is Fournier, so they're not US Games or Los Scarabeo. It's Fournier, who also makes Anne Stokes cards and several other decks as well. And it's presented that kind of way. It's in several different languages, so don't be fooled by how thick the booklet is, because there's probably not that much in English or in the language of your choice, whatever that is. So let's just see what it says for the 8 of Cups. Normal position, discontinuance of effort, shyness, modesty, abandoned success. Reversed position, happiness, effort, continued until full success is attained, gaiety and feasting. So very scanty sort of explanations there. It's not telling us a whole lot about it, but that can be good, actually, and that is one of the main things about the Tarot of Marseille, which we'll have a look at next. So I've sneakily cut the plastic open while you weren't looking, because that can take forever. These are in Fournier as well, actually, And they're pretty good at low-cost decks. The Anne Stokes deck is very nice. If you saw the reading I did with that the other day, you'll like it. You know, it's a really nice deck. It's quite basic on the symbolism, but it's a nice deck. This is super basic on the symbolism, and it's packed just like Tarot del Fuego with the leaflet in the middle. So let us see what we've got here. Now, this is a very, very basic deck, and I'm real glad it was the first deck that I ever got, because it really forced me to learn things. All I had was this little booklet that came with it, and it forced me to learn what the real meanings were all about. We have got the all-important 2 cards that come with any deck you buy here again. They're actually, these are quite pretty. These are prettier than the first Ancient Tarot of Marseille that I got. But looking straight into the major arcana here, Le Mat, the Fool, and beginning off the Fool's journey here. There's no number on it at all. It's number 0. The Magician here's got a 1 on, so they are numbered. But since this is a 0, there's just no number there. Very, very basic, and a very basic image, actually. Kind of difficult to know what to read into that unless you're really careful. But look, the dog is actually tearing his trousers off there. This is slightly less basic than the first first Marseille Tarot that I actually got. Anyway, there's the Magician. We've had a look already, and this is a very basic Magician, isn't it? But he's got all the tools, and I noticed there's kind of pieces of fruit involved there as well. And this bag with a tongue sticking out of it. I'm sure I'm going to get into all this imagery and find out what things mean. Priestess, there she is. And we haven't got the Kabbalistic towers on this priestess here, or on the Empress, which is what I was really thinking of. But they're sort of represented as wings behind, you know, behind her chair. But in any case, the message is as clear as it would be in any deck, actually in both of these cards, that there's a journey to go on, and we can't actually see what's going on behind the scenes in the journey. So really kind of good, I think. It is a very basic deck. They always are. Look, the star. That's a really nice bit of artwork there, isn't it? This is really nice. I'm liking this deck, actually. And like Tarot del Fuego, it's good cardstock. It's kind of thin. It's kind of flimsy. I'm not going to bend it too much because, you know, it's not going to stand up to too much bending. But it's more than okay. I wonder who leaves those comments, you know. Maybe just people who are sort of too precious-minded. And we've got some more cards. Oh, look. Made by, fabriqué par Heraclio Fournier, Vittoria. Right, so a lesson in linguistics there as well. Nice back on these cards. Not quite as passionate as the back on the Fuego cards, which always has that all-seeing eye there. But here we have, right, this is the 3 of discs, the 3 of pentacles, I guess you'd call it. But essentially the 3 of discs. We've got the number 3 down there in Roman numerals. And as you can see, once we get into the suits, we have very, very basic images indeed. The good thing about that is it allows your spirit guides to really put the interpretation on it. And for me as a reader, it lets my guides speak to me. So that is so good. And there is the Ace of Pentacles as well. It's got the 1 on it there. Getting swamped with cards here. Let's just put these major ones out of the way and see what else we've got. Moving through into the cups. Very traditional cup images again. You might almost say badly drawn cups, except, you know, they've been deliberately drawn this way to make sure that it actually fits with the tradition of the old Tarot of Marseille, which is a very ancient deck indeed. And as we go through the cups, they're all like that. You see, they've got the Roman numerals on it. But when we get to the court cards, the Valet de Coupe, the Knight of Cups, in fact, or sorry, the Page of Cups. What am I talking about? The Page of Cups. Still very basic image, actually, but we have got some artwork going on there. So we've got some kind of relief there when we're doing our reading, trying to think what all these basic symbols mean. We've actually got something we can go on when we get to the court cards. Whoa, dropping them everywhere. There is the Ace of Swords. Does that not say it all? It's kind of the crowned hand as well. There's a kind of French knife that I had when I was a kid, and it said the crowned hand on it in French, which was really interesting. But fiery, this, and here's the hand coming out of nowhere with the Ace of Swords, full of alchemy. This image, actually, as we get into the swords, they're always curved like this, kind of curved sabres. But swords are all about decisions, and decisions do get curved around all the place. They're like curved balls, aren't they? Oh dear, a curved ball has been thrown, and we've got to work out what to do. And there are more of these curved swords as we go through, representing kind of more and more. We get to 6 there, and there's actually 6 of them crossed over, 7. And then there's one in the middle. There's the even number of 6, 3 either side, and there's one in the middle there. So I am liking this deck. Let's just keep going. Knight of Swords there, he's a different kettle of fish. And the wands, very green, very full of nature energy. And again, very fiery on the Ace of Wands there. You can tell the difference between the wands and the swords because the wands are in a straight line and they're yellow, and the swords are black and they're curved. So that's about the only way you can tell as you're reading it. But I'm glad this was my first deck. It really, really got me on my toes, and really, really made me learn the meanings by heart. If I was going to do a reading for someone, I'd really want to know that I had them in the bag there. Wanted to tidy those up a bit. Let's just push the knife out of shot. I don't like that knife in shot. And here's the booklet that comes with it. Fournier kind of book again, which like the Tarot del Fuego book. Some samples of how to do a spread there. But again, don't be fooled by the thickness of the booklet. There are many different languages in here, and the language of your choice may not tell you a hell of a lot. Let's just read the description for the Hanged Man here. Represents the spirit of reunification and sacrifice. No? I read that wrong. Represents the spirit of renunciation and sacrifice. I thought that's more like it. Normal position, life in suspension, transition, apathy and dullness, boredom, abandonment, sacrifice, repentance, readjustment, regeneration, improvement, surrender. Something for everyone there. Reversed position, lack of sacrifice, failure to give of oneself, preoccupation with the ego, false prophecy, useless sacrifice. Okay, so again, they're very basic descriptions there. But I found that quite helpful right at the beginning of my tarot journey. It really kind of got me in tune with actually understanding things in my own mind. And this just wouldn't be me if I didn't pull 3 cards out and do a little bit of a tarot reading, would it? I'm looking forward to this. I'm going to use the Tarot del Fuego because the images are just, they're pretty, they're nice, they're uplifting, The Marseilles Tarot, it helps you look on the dark side a bit. Now, there's, that's not too bad, really. I don't think, really, that as mystics and as readers that we're in business to give people bad news. Bad news does come up, but it always comes up in a way that has got something to do with encouraging the sitter towards some kind of healing experience going on in their life. So I don't like to dwell on the negatives, but negatives are a real thing, and it's crazy to try and completely cut them out of your readings. Just shuffling here and cards are dropping out that I thought I'd taken out, like the title card and things like that. Okay, first card out, it's the 9 of Wands. Okay, so this is all about getting things done, and getting things done is going to happen actually all the more quickly if you just buy yourself a cheap tarot deck. If you want to get into the tarot and money is an issue, this is really, really going to stretch your tarot dollar or your tarot pound, and I highly recommend this Fournier edition actually, because as cheap as they are, they're pretty well made, they're pretty good. Don't listen to those Amazon reviews that says they're badly made. I don't know where that came from. It's crazy, it's nuts. But 9 of Wands is going to get things done, but it's also going to get you cutting cords with the past. That's the thing about the 9 of Wands, and that's the hidden meaning behind this, because when this card comes up, you've taken on too much, or maybe you took on just enough in the past and it's grown to be a bit too much now. There's a crazy ladder to climb here, and this guy is going to have to lighten his load by cutting his cords to get on up that ladder. Okay, well, that was good. That's my first ever Tarot del Fuego card that I've ever read, so I'm kind of feeling quite good about that. We'll cut the deck. Here we've got the moon. Now then, I'm actually doing this on Thanksgiving Day, and we're just coming up to a big full moon on Monday. It's going to be a full moon in, I believe, in the sign of Gemini. There's also going to be a penumbral lunar eclipse, so lots of moon magic happening, and this card is pointing in that direction as well. It's number 18 in the major arcana, and very much simpler to read actually than Tarot in Wonderland. That's the first thing I noticed, and simpler also to read than the Starman Tarot, which is like the most expensive deck that I've got at the moment. One of my favourites to read. Beautiful images on the Starman, but they are nuts. They're really hard to interpret. This one, we've got the moon showing up as a four-eyed monster, and I guess I'm that because I've got my 4 eyes on here. Or maybe it's got 5 eyes and we just can't see them. Looking more closely at it, if I turn it round and come up close, you can see there's a kind of Picasso-type abstract modern art sort of face there looking down from the moon. In fact, I've got it the wrong way around. There she is, look. She looks almost Native American in that as well. Lots of symbolism actually in these cards. The more I look at them, the more symbolism there is in there. Okay, let's do another one and see what actually comes out. And it's the 9 of Cups. So, out of the 3 cards, 2 of them are 9s and 1 of them is number 18. So they've all gone together. Shows the magic is working really nicely with this deck, which is this one, Tarot del Fuego. And I'm really, really enjoying the colours in this deck. Nice and colourful. Okay, it's the 9 of Cups, and there are 9 cups. But I thought I'd got the card upside down for a second, because the cups go the right way up if you turn the card upside down. Well, we know that's wrong because this is all flowers and plants and things growing out of the ground. So they've got to be growing up. So 9 of Cups, well, something legalistic is often the case when we get this card. It's also the card which in the ancient fortune-telling traditions of the Romanes and really all the people who went before the likes of us who read on YouTube and are reading generally in life today, this was called the Make-A-Wish card. And when it came up, it suggested that, and as it was come up tonight, so it's suggesting it here and now, in every way it really is, that if you make a wish, the chances are that you'll get what you want. Of course, you've got to be careful what you wish for. That's the other side of it, is it not? Okay, so let us recap like I always do. First card we had, 9 of Wands. Action is happening. Maybe too much action is happening. Maybe you need to cut some cords, lighten your load, leave some of the past behind. The past is old news. And then we had the moon, number 18 in the major arcana, full of life. It's all going on there. There is, as ever, that danger of being drawn by a false light, and it took me about 10 attempts to get this lady's head the right way up. We've got the traditional kind of crab image down here with a human face on it, you know. So that's an interesting one, is it not? It always is, you know. And look, there's snakes here as well, and that's the nature of the moon card. Is it a false light? Are you going to get bitten in the backside, like the Fool in this deck as well, actually? No, like the Fool in the Tarot de Marseilles that we looked at a minute ago. And then we ended with the 9 of Cups. Make a wish, be careful what you wish for. Sometimes everything turns over on its head. Right, so there we go. There are 2 really, really nice decks that I've enjoyed working with. Let's see, the Marseille has a back on it like that, and that kind of image on it. Tarot del Fuego has this on the back. Very, very pretty deck, and I'm going to go and do myself a private little reading now and get to know this lovely deck some more. Meanwhile, my friends, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button. I'm doing subscriber giveaways just about all the time, actually. It seems a real good way to make friends with people and get to know you guys. Leave me a comment as well, please, because that also helps me to get to know you guys, and it lets our spirit guides get to know each other. There'll be live readings coming up. Got some of those planned very soon. There's readings going on all the time with me, so subscribe. Make sure you don't miss anything. Thumbs up, please, if you've enjoyed it. Take care of yourselves, my friends. Love, light, blessings, and peace.